Life will break you. There's no avoiding that. Sometimes it feels like everything you've worked for crumbles in your hands. You face failure, disappointment, heartache. But here's the truth, it's not about whether or not you'll fall, it's about whether or not you'll rise. Rebuilding yourself is not just an option, it's a requirement. And it all begins with you. First, you have to acknowledge that you're broken. That might be hard to hear, but you have to be honest with yourself. You can't put together the pieces if you're pretending everything is fine. Face the mirror, look yourself in the eyes, and own the reality. You failed, but guess what? You're still standing. And as long as you're standing, you've got the power to rebuild. Next, you need a vision. You can't wander aimlessly and expect to reach the top. Picture where you want to be. See yourself stronger, better, wiser. That image of your future self should be so clear that nothing can shake it. You must hold on to that vision when times get tough, because they will get tough. Here's where it gets real. You have to take responsibility for your life. It's easy to blame circumstances or other people, but that doesn't change anything. The moment you stop pointing fingers and start owning your story is the moment you get your power back. Understand this, nobody is coming to save you. You are the hero of your own journey. Now let's talk about discipline. Motivation, that's temporary. It's fleeting. Discipline is what will carry you through the days you don't feel like grinding, the nights when you want to quit. Discipline is the bridge between the person you are and the person you want to become. It's the quiet commitment to do the work even when no one is watching. And while you're on this path, be mindful of who's walking beside you. You can't rebuild with people who are tearing you down. Surround yourself with those who see your potential, even when you don't. Find people who challenge you, who push you to be better, who hold you accountable. Iron sharpens iron, and you need the right people in your corner. The grind will test you. It won't be easy, it won't be glamorous, and it definitely won't happen overnight. But if you stay committed, if you keep showing up, you'll see the results. You have to fall in love with the process of growth. Brick by brick, day by day, you'll start to see the new you take shape. Keep your faith strong. Whether that faith is in a higher power or in yourself, let it be your anchor. When the storms come, and they will come, faith will be the thing that keeps you moving forward. It's what gives you the courage to rebuild, no matter how many times life knocks you down. Never stop learning. Every setback, every failure, every challenge holds a lesson. Be humble enough to recognize that. Life is your greatest teacher. Rebuilding yourself means you're constantly evolving, constantly growing. Never become too proud to learn. Never become too comfortable to change. So now the question is, are you ready? Are you ready to rebuild? Because no matter what has happened, no matter what you've lost or how far you've fallen, the power to rise is in you. The foundation is within. It's time to pick up the pieces and create the masterpiece that is your life. Rebuild yourself. No one else can do it for you. The first step in rebuilding yourself is to face the truth, your truth. Life can hit you hard, and sometimes it feels like it's shattered you into a million pieces. There are moments when you might not recognize who you've become. You're carrying the weight of past failures, regrets, disappointments, and maybe even guilt. But you cannot move forward until you acknowledge where you are right now. It's easy to pretend everything's fine, to put on a brave face and act like nothing's wrong. We've all done it, told ourselves that if we just ignore the cracks, they'll somehow fix themselves. But that's not how healing works. You can't mend what you don't confront. You can't rebuild what you refuse to admit is broken. Acknowledging your broken pieces means taking a hard, honest look at yourself. It's not about self-pity or drowning in negativity. It's about being real with yourself. What's holding you back? What fears are you still clinging to? What areas of your life are in disarray? Maybe it's your confidence, your relationships, your purpose, whatever it is, call it out. Say it. Own it. You see, the strength to rebuild begins in that moment of recognition. You must allow yourself to be vulnerable, to admit that things didn't go the way you planned. Maybe you've made mistakes. Maybe life threw you challenges you weren't prepared for. Maybe you trusted the wrong people, missed opportunities, or took a path that led to a dead end. That's okay. But it's not okay to stay in denial, because denial keeps you stagnant. Remember, there is no shame in admitting that you're not where you want to be. It's the most courageous thing you can do. And here's the beauty of it: acknowledging that you're broken is the first step to becoming whole again. Only when you see the gaps can you fill them. Only when you recognize the wounds can you heal them. When you admit to yourself that you're not perfect, that you've been knocked down, it doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. It's in this honest reflection that your rebuilding begins. You're laying the foundation by saying, "This is where I am, but it's not where I'm staying." In acknowledging your broken pieces, you give yourself permission to start over, to let go of the past, and to focus on what comes next. Because every piece that's broken can be rebuilt, but only if you're brave enough to admit that it needs to be fixed in the first place. Before you can rebuild yourself, you need to have a clear vision of where you're headed. Without vision, you're like a ship lost at sea, drifting aimlessly without a destination. You can work hard, you can push through obstacles, but if you don't know what you're working toward, what's the point? Having a clear vision gives your life direction, purpose, and meaning. Your vision is your roadmap. It's the image of the person you want to become, the life you want to live, and the goals you want to achieve. Without that picture in your mind, you'll spend your time and energy spinning in circles. You might make progress, but it won't be meaningful because you don't know where you're going. Start by asking yourself, what do I truly want? This isn't about what others expect of you or what society tells you should want. It's about what lights a fire in your soul. What does your ideal life look like? Who do you see yourself becoming in 5, 10, or 20 years? The vision should be so vivid and specific that you can see it in your mind's eye as clearly as if it were happening right now. But it's not enough to just dream about it. You have to commit to that vision. That means making it real in your everyday actions. Write it down, speak it out loud, and revisit it regularly. Let it guide your decisions and priorities. A clear vision doesn't live in your imagination, it lives in your daily choices. Now, here's the truth: your vision will be tested. There will be moments when the road gets rough, when doubt creeps in, and when you feel like giving up. But if your vision is strong, it will pull you through. It will remind you of why you started this journey in the first place. It's the light that keeps shining when everything else seems dark. When you have a clear vision, obstacles become stepping stones, not roadblocks, because you know exactly where you're going. And don't be afraid to adjust your vision as you grow. Life has a way of surprising us. What you envision today might evolve over time. And that's okay. Your purpose may expand, your goals may shift, but the key is to always have something pulling you forward. A clear vision keeps you anchored while allowing you to adapt as you grow. Having a vision also sets you apart. Most people wander through life without a clear sense of direction, letting circumstances dictate their path. But when you have a vision, you move with intention. Every step you take, every choice you make is aligned with that bigger picture. You're not just reacting to life, you're creating your life. When you wake up each morning with a clear vision in your heart and mind, it changes the way you approach everything. Your energy shifts, your mindset sharpens, and you move with purpose. You're no longer wasting time or getting distracted by things that don't matter. You're focused, driven, and determined. So, what's your vision? What's the life you're building for yourself? It's time to see it clearly. Because once you do, the path to rebuilding yourself becomes not just possible, but inevitable. If you want to rebuild yourself, the foundation starts with one thing: taking full responsibility for your life. This means owning your actions, your choices, your failures, and your successes. It's not always easy, but it's the most empowering thing you can do for yourself. Because until you accept responsibility, you're handing your power over to someone or something else. You're letting outside circumstances, other people, or even your past control your future. But here's the truth: no one else is responsible for where you are right now but you. Taking responsibility is about looking at where your life is right now and admitting that your actions have led you here. It's not about blaming yourself or feeling guilty. It's about recognizing that your choices, your mindset, and how you reacted to situations played a major role in where you've landed. Maybe things didn't go as planned. Maybe you were hurt, wronged, or betrayed. But how you responded to those moments is on you. When you take responsibility, you stop playing the victim. We all face hardships, some of them deeply unfair, painful, or unexpected, but staying in a victim mindset only keeps you stuck. It may feel comforting to blame others or external factors for where you are, but in reality, that gives them control over your life. Blame shifts your focus away from the one thing you can actually control: yourself. Taking responsibility doesn't mean that everything that happened to you is your fault. It means recognizing that even in situations beyond your control, you always have control over how you respond. Did you get back up, or did you let it break you? Did you learn from the experience, or did you let it define you? These are the hard questions you have to ask yourself. Owning your story, both the good and the bad, is how you take your power back. Maybe you've made some bad decisions in the past. We all have. But owning them means you're saying, yes, I made that choice, but I'm not that choice. I'm more than that. I can make better choices from here on. When you do that, you put yourself in the driver's seat of your life. Responsibility is also about stopping the excuses. Excuses are easy to make. I don't have the time, I'm too old, I wasn't given the same opportunities, or I can't do it because of this or that. These may be real obstacles, but they don't define your future. When you take responsibility, you stop allowing excuses to dictate your actions. You start looking for solutions instead of focusing on the problems. Taking responsibility means being accountable, not just to others, but to yourself. It's setting high standards for how you show up every day, how you pursue your goals, and how you handle setbacks. When you're accountable to yourself, you stop relying on external validation or waiting for others to motivate you. You become your own driving force. It also means embracing the idea that you're responsible for your happiness, your growth, and your success. No one else is going to do the work for you. No one else can change your mindset, your habits, or your life. Only you can. So ask yourself, are you taking responsibility for your life? Or are you waiting for someone else to step in? Are you blaming your circumstances? Or are you owning the fact that you have the power to change them? When you take responsibility, you realize that your future is in your hands. It's a liberating feeling, because no matter where you are right now, you know you can make new choices. You can create a new path. It doesn't matter where you started or what setbacks you faced. What matters is where you're going, and that's up to you. The moment you stop blaming, stop making excuses, and start taking full ownership of your life, you step into your power. And that's when the real rebuilding begins.